Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Black Seinfeld Show About Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's the one only Trinidadian Panamanian Poppy Rude Boy Top Gunner, aka Sakpanya Mada Giovanni Anglin. Hello, everyone.
What's going on, folks? It's Bash Nissa, recording live from Queens. Gio is in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we just want to thank everyone once again for tuning into our show. If you enjoy... Nah, I'm not going to do that. Hi, Bastion. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's been a great day so far. A nice 52 degrees. I'm here. A little bit of technical difficulties, but other than that, I've been doing pretty well, man. I can't complain. It's been a great day so far. I got the PTO coming up, so I get to, relax for a couple of days. I deserve it.
Okay, so you're taking a personal break, a personal me time.
Absolutely.
And that's something that the pandemic kind of showed most people about how expensive their time is, right? You need to take those personal PTO days. It doesn't make sense just keep stacking and adding up. You have to figure out what you want to do. Even if you don't go out, like leaving the state or your city, just going to like a museum or going to a nice walk in the nicer park around the other side of town.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice day. Like, your current park sucks, but hey, the park 3 towns around is a little bit better. A little bit better.
You still go to the park?
The park? No. Nah, I definitely don't go outside as much.
See, Bastion, this is what happens when you work at home. That's why Eric Adams is telling y'all need to go back out to the office and work, because y'all want to stay in your little bat caves and want to be antisocial and want to work with your damn do-rags on and your black tees on, Bastion. That's what he meant. You don't want to socialize with the world, okay? You don't want to walk in the park no more. It's 52 degrees, sir. What are you doing staying inside?
Well, what I know he meant is he wants more people to move so we could spend more money outside compared to, maybe cooking up your own food. You're saving a lot of money because you're not door dashing as much as you used to, or now you actually know what a good lunch is supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
Those are feelings.
Yo, I've seen a lot of people experiment with making sourdough bread during the pandemic. Did you ever try making sourdough?
No, because it's a little bit difficult. You do need sourdough bread starter, and it is more of a 7-day process. So if you have the time and patience, which I don't, in terms of cooking, like, I'm not waiting 7 days to cook something. At most, maximum 24 hours. That's if you over seasoned chicken, like you seasoned chicken the night before. That's the most I could do. Like, if you were to make your own croissant and then you kind of laminate it a couple times and freeze it, then do it again, could be like a 2-day process depending on how good your freezer is. But in terms of creating sourdough, no, I'm not interested in doing a 7-day process. Just straight up buy sourdough for $8.
See, and this is first world problems right here. See, you don't want to, you don't want to.
Sourdough is first world.
It is first world. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's first world. No, buying sourdough is first world. Actually creating it yourself?
All right. All right. As someone that's Trini, right? Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Roti.
Yes, sir.
Roti. The life of roti. How do you make roti? Do you know how to make your own roti?
All it is just flour, water, and then you can fly it on a tawa. That's it. That is it.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
It's simple.
So most cultures have a simple like that, like what you just said. Mm-hmm. The simple, right? Mm-hmm. They have a flat bread that's easy to make, and they go on with their day. They're not waiting 7 days for some sourdough that they could put, like, what you gonna put, some bacon jam on it, huh? You got bacon jam laying around? I don't think so.
No, Bastion, you make a fire ass grilled cheese on that sourdough bread.
Oh, now you're wasting cheese? How many cheeses are you using? You can't just make grilled cheese off of one mozzarella.
Whoa, first off, I'm not even just going to use mozzarella. I'm not going to use mozzarella for my grilled cheese. I'm using that nice cheddar. You know what I'm saying? And cheddar makes everything better. Fun fact, when I was chefing it up back in the day, we used to have this grilled cheese called the Three Migos grilled cheese. And it was cheddar, it was provolone, and it was mozzarella. That created the Three Migos. Not Three Amigos, but the Three Migos. grilled cheese.
Interesting, because I will do cheddar jack, mozzarella, and if I'm feeling fancy, fontina. But
whoa, fontina.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So in terms of this leisure of high-end usage of their sourdough bread, you have created a meal that costs more than $20 to put together.
Yeah.
Compared to the flatbread, you have some roti, and you make, you got some rice, then you can have some type of like vegetable or curry. Now you're just mixing it all together. Boom, that's dinner for 3 days. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I will say this though. All right, to shoot some bail on sourdough bread again, Bashan. We are Caribbean. We are also black. Okay, the biggest delicacy in black culture and Caribbean culture. We don't really care for turkeys like that, but oxtail. Okay, let me tell you something. Oxtail is very expensive. Okay, I figured during Black History Month it should have been reduced for black people, only black people, by like 50%. Okay, so instead of $70, $35 for some oxtails, right? Oxtail, it takes a process. It takes a long process to make some good oxtail. Okay, some fall off the bone oxtail, some tender fender bender oxtail. Okay, that's a long process.
At least discounted. But yeah, I think I've used, I think I see my mom make oxtail once, but oxtail isn't something that I see in my current household. More of like an outside thing for me. I didn't grow up on oxtail, but I understood how important it was to the culture. There's this place called Blue Ribbon. I'm gonna put you on.
Oh, I'm familiar with Blue Ribbon. I know exactly where you're gonna go. Yeah.
So you understand, like they have this black rice, which is I'm pretty sure just squid ink, black ink, oxtail rice with with a little bit of egg, and you can put a little bit of hot sauce on it. That's amazing, but you can't find the recipe anywhere. Like I'm trying to find a recipe, and sadly, most of the stores closed in Brooklyn. So in order to try that delicacy, you have to get into Manhattan, and I'm from Queens. I don't feel like going to the city no more. So
we're going to the city Friday.
No, but we're not going to the Blue Ribbons afterwards.
Yeah, no, absolutely
not. Downtown. So that's what I mean. Like I'm missing certain delicacies, like the oxtail fried rice, which is amazing, and I always recommend people to go there. The price has gone up. I did see a spot in LA, which is they do have a spot in LA.
Oh, so good luck. Is there Caribbean food valid over there?
That's a great question, because one thing I understood about LA is they do have a bigger like Mexican culture, of course.
Damn right.
Obviously,
I heard them tacos is. My
exactly.
God.
So you're going to see a lot more like Mexican dishes compared to over here in New York. You're going to see everybody and their mom's got a Jamaican restaurant. Someone got their own soul food restaurant, or someone got their own chicken joint. So
just stay away from the California pizza kitchen, man. That's all I'm saying, bro. Don't go over there and try it out, their pizzas. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it to yourself.
Same thing about the bagels too. What I understand is their bagel culture game is not the same, but their donuts, that's kind of where they make up their circles.
So is the donut game, is this sort of like Donut Plant where they give you different variety of donuts? So for example, Donut Plant, they have my favorite donut ever, which is the black and white donut, which is a shoot from the New York classic, the black and white cookie, just in donut form. It's damn near delectable. One half is just a nice vanilla glazed donut. Then the other side is a nice chocolate covered glazed donut as well. So it's damn near delectable. So I'm assuming the California scene will be something along that nature, where there's just different variety of flavors. Maybe some donuts gonna have like a caramel drizzle on it. I don't know. I'm just shooting ideas here.
No, you're 100% correct, because all these are privately owned. If they're chained, they're probably chained up 3-4 and that's it. But they are creating their own type of styles. Here in New York, we're not really focused on donuts for some reason. I think we've let Massachusetts, our East Coast state, pretty much control us into doing more Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
So sadly,
and Krispy Kreme.
Not as much. There's you don't find no Krispy Kreme in Queens or Brooklyn. So
yeah, that's true. That's only in Manhattan. But I will say, as far as Queens and Brooklyn goes, there is the Donut Plant, and the Donut Plant has some crazy out there donut combinations and donut flavors, and almost all of them are a banger too. And if you're vegetarian, they don't have any egg. They don't put any eggs in their donuts as well. And there's also vegan options for you as well. You can choose between the cake donut or the yeast donut. The yeast donut's a bit more lighter, it's a bit more airy, and the cake donut is exactly how it sounds. It's a bit more dense, and they're all really good.
But that's the problem with the game here, because it kind of coincides with the concept of like, if there's not a lot of options for worldwide, like different styles of donuts, not just your plain that you can find at Dunkin' Donuts, you're pretty much limited to your options. Hence, there's a more likely chance that they don't have your flavor because they're not restocking as much.
That's
right.
fair.
So, when I'm in LA, there's like maybe like 3. I'm walking distance between 3 different donut shops, and they're all different from each other. So, I could go to one and have my favorite here, or I could go to the other one. But that's kind of the culture. So you have your options, so you're never going to really run out of like, oh, they didn't have this today, I missed out for the week or something. That's the problem here. It's like here for like you can feel the same thing for bagels. If this bagel shop doesn't have any more everything bagels because the morning rush was crazy, I'm pretty sure the other side you'll be able to find some everything bagels.
That is true, but also I hate how we are as New Yorkers sometimes, because once our favorite shop runs out of everything bagels, either 2 things will happen. They'll settle on like the sesame second, or they'll just leave.
I'd leave.
Of course you would leave.
I leave.
I'd get the sesame. I'd settle for sesame.
I don't settle for, because the problem with me and bagel is when I'm going to a bagel store, I already made the order. Right? I haven't said it yet, but I already decided I will like an everything bagel with cream cheese, right? Or in bacon,
Yeah, that's right? A hood delicacy right there, ladies and gentlemen. Cream cheese and bacon.
Because I want the savory of the bacon and the salt textures from the bagel.
I agree.
Think that would just be a great combination.
It is.
And he said, "Oh, we don't do pork bacon." Peace, then I'm out, right?
That's fair.
Then it's like, oh, we do beef, and the problem is I hate beef bacon.
It's not weird. That good.
It's not good at all. So I'm out. Then go to another spot, and it's like, oh, we only have like raisins left. I'll do it for the raisins maximum. Or onion bagel maybe.
Okay.
But
I'm not mad at the onion bagels.
Rare.
Ooh, here's a top tier New York question for you. If you're at a prime bagel shop, do you still ask for them to toast the bagel if it's super fresh or not? When you get your bagel, you still ask for it toasted.
Yes.
Because that is a thing. That is a thing here. Like some people feel like you should not toast the bagel if it's fresh, if it's super fresh, and you can press on the bagel and sugar. I was gonna say the S word.
For me, it's more of a crunch texture that I'm looking for from not just the outer piece, but from the layer, from like the bread itself.
I agree.
That's why I like toast. It's more for me. It's no more about like, oh, it tastes better warm. It's more of I like the warm crunch.
I agree.
Texture. So that's a good question, though. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a real thing when you go to bagel shops. Some people will look at you crazy if you ask for your bagel toasted if it's like a fresh ass bagel. Some people consider that to be a no. I personally, I'm with you. I don't care. I want my bagel toasted, and I agree. It's the toasted crunchy component. It adds another layer to the bagel, in my humble opinion.
The one last thing before we get off the subject about like toasting a bagel. You mostly toast a bagel for shops you're not familiar with. If it's the local shop and you buy a dozen and they're discounted on a Wednesday, for example, yeah, I don't mind taking that warm, and eating it on the way out. That's no problem. But most bagel shops you go to, especially if it's like on the go for work, you're never going to eat like a plain bagel there. So you don't know what the actual bagel tastes like. You just know how the sandwich bagels taste like.
Right. That's a good point.
That's why I go for the toast sometimes. It's always worked well. There are some like bagel shops where I just completely flat out are disgusted by. And it's like never shop there again.
That's true.
That's how I feel. Same thing about like, going to Krispy Kreme, and I had it like a couple weeks ago. And eating Krispy Kreme like straight up warm, out like fresh, is an insane experience.
It is. It's almost euphoric.
It's super euphoric, and I was kind of upset at myself because I only ordered one.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, you know, when eating donuts, you like just eat one and it's like, all right, so dry and stuff. But I didn't know it'll come out so fresh. I would have ordered two.
Yeah. So it's funny that you brought up Krispy Kreme because I had this conversation earlier today actually with a coworker. He said he bought a dozen fresh off the conveyor belt Krispy Kreme donuts, right? And he said before he could even pay for them, he ran through about 6 of them. And I'm like, you are a sick man. But I get it though, because if you get a fresh Krispy Kreme donut off the conveyor belt with the hot glaze on it, it's an existential
oh my God.
it's an existential experience that you're having. Okay, it's like a sixth sense has been activated. Okay, it feels like you want to levitate afterwards. I'm telling you, people, once it became available for fully vaccinated people to get free Krispy Kreme donuts, yo, I was up in Krispy Kreme for a while getting some free donuts, and it was incredible.
Where at?
Oh, right on Midtown. There's one right near the MSG. It's like 36th Street, I want to say.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never been to that one, but like I said, I haven't been to the city. I don't really go often to the city unless I'm like with you or somebody.
Oh, thanks, man.
So yeah, you don't really see me out there anymore. But hey, you know, next time you go into Krispy Kreme, you no longer have to wear a mask because they won't mandate it for you anymore.
That's a great segue.
Into our first conversation about Eric Adams, and someone we actually spoke about last week. So if you want to listen to our older episodes, check out Black Seinfeld on pretty much any podcast network. So Spotify, you know, on your iPhone, there's the podcast app. Just, you know, tap that, type in Black Seinfeld, and subscribe to us. And please leave a comment, share it with your friends. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at Black Seinfeld NY. And we also have our website, blackseinfeld.com. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at blackseinfeldny@gmail.com. And like I said, last week we spoke about Eric Adams and he's a cop, all right? That's all I'm going to say.
The war on drill.
The war on drill.
Brooklyn drill.
And one thing that he did recently was actually talk about how they're going to create a date on when we no longer have to mandate masks. And it's pretty much like for like, you know, public places that tend to say, hey, you know, you can't walk in until you wear a mask. Or let me check your temperature real quick.
That's right.
On March 7th. So that's next week, a couple days from today.
Monday, March 7th. That's right, people.
Good to go.
And let me tell you this, Bastion. I want to praise our New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, for this right now, because, you know, the people of New York have been struggling, okay? I go to work all the time, and I'm dealing with these NYC cab drivers, and their attitudes is as horrible as their driving, okay? So when you tell them, hey, put on your mask, they want to fight you. They want to be smart asses. And I'm tired of it, Bastion. I am so tired of telling grown men to be responsible and put on their masks. So you know what? I'm happy for me. I'm happy for my manager, but I'm also happy for basketball. You know why? Because this means that Kyrie Irving, that's right, the point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, can come back home to New York, to Brooklyn, to ball out at the Barclays Center. I am here to praise Eric Adams for what he's doing, okay? Rudy Giuliani, who? Mike Bloomberg, what? Bill de Blasio, these nuts? It's all about Mayor Eric Adams. Shout out to Mayor Eric Adams, probably one of the best mayors we've had in New York City since I don't know when, okay? Stop playing Eric Adams like that. All y'all talk about, oh, Eric Adams is a cop. Eric Adams is fake. Shut up, all right? Y'all don't live with him, all right? You already know he's trying to give us a trophy back here in Brooklyn. So KD, I know you're gonna be playing again this Thursday. I know your knee has been messed up, but you're gonna be playing Thursday. Guess who's gonna be there with you, KD? Kyrie. That's right. I can't wait, man, because we can't rely on the Knicks, man. We seen what happened with the Knicks. The Lakers has gone to shots too. Like it's over for them. But maybe Brooklyn can come out of this rut and give New York what we deserve, and that's a damn trophy. That's a damn ring to the city, and that's prestige back into New York, because we haven't won a title in 10 years thanks to the Giants. We haven't won anything in 10 years. Okay, so shout out to you, Eric Adams. I'm proud of you. I always believed in you.
When did Yankees win? 2011?
No, the Yankees won their last title. It was in 2009, Bash.
2009. Okay. I was in high school then, because I remember everybody came to school with their jerseys.
Absolutely. So, and the Yankee fitties, Yankee hats.
Yeah, that's every day. But I'm going to have to stop you, though, because praise is a very strong word, right?
Why?
Cop. You know what? You should play this clip I just sent you. It's called Adam CNBC.
Okay, hold on. Let me listen to this.
My wife is a diehard Net fan and was one of the first season ticket holders. I'm concerned. I feel that the Sixers have the run of the joint unless Kyrie Irving is able to play at home. What will you do to make it so Kyrie Irving can play at home?
Listen, I want Kyrie on the court. You know, I would do anything to get that ring. So badly I want it. But there's so much at stake here. And, you know, I spoke with the owner of the team. We want to find a way to get Kyrie on the court, but this is a bigger issue. I can't have my city closed down again. And it would send the wrong message just to have an exception for one player when we're telling a countless number of New York City employees, if you don't follow the rules, you won't be able to be employed. That's not the right thing to do.
But the away teams have a considered advantage because they could have unvaccinated. They're allowed to play. That doesn't seem right.
It makes no sense. And I don't know who thought of putting such a ridiculous rule in place of away teams can come and play when our teams from New York. But these are the rules, and I have to follow the rules. If I don't, I'm going to open the door that is sending a wrong message to everyday employees.
Absolutely.
Businesses have their vaccine mandates. City employees have their vaccine mandates. I have to follow the rules. And trust me, I want Kyrie on the court. We are here right now opening our city because of vaccine mandates. We can't close down again. I can't have my city closed down again.
Yeah. So some bad news for you. Kyrie will be able to chill on the bench, but he won't be able to put the black and white jerseys on. You understand? Because New York City still has the private business vaccine mandate, and by law, he cannot play in Brooklyn home until he is vaccinated. So your brother over there, you know, sadly, you probably could catch him. They're playing Philly, you know. Maybe you could drive to Philly if you want to watch Kyrie play.
Screw Eric Adams. Eric Adams is the worst mayor in New York City. First off, he's a cop. Second off, his good-for-nothing son tried to blame all the crime in New York City on Brooklyn drill music. Not to mention, you just following the rules. You're the mayor, Eric Adams. You can be like, you know what, Kyrie? You can play. You can play, Kyrie. You can do that. But yeah, I want to set an example for the kids and for the Screw Eric Adams. Ever since he got sworn in New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, all he's been doing was watching women get robbed by the train station. He's been going to the train, making these good-for-nothing MTA commercials where homeless people at. That's all he's been doing. Screw Eric Adams. The one time he could do something right for the city of New York, for Brooklyn, our borough, he chooses not to because he wants to follow the rules. Meanwhile, all these away teams could come and not even be vaccinated and play. What sense does that make?
Whoa. What happened to all the praise you were giving him just a couple of minutes ago?
Listen, Bastion, you worried about past. You worried about the past. I'm worried about the future. I'm worried about the present, okay? My mind, I see, I'm a futurist, okay? You worried about what I said 10 minutes ago. That was the past, okay? I see sound, Bastion, okay? Okay? I see the future. I am the future. Okay, I am the present and the future, now and forever. Okay, forget about then, forget about when. Okay, and now I want Kyrie to play. And ever since you played that clip for me, no, screw Eric Adams.
Hey man, he's just following the rules, and I'm glad he's upholding those rules. And I praise Eric Adams.
No, you don't. You just said he's a cop.
He is, but you know, every now and then. A cop does one or two good things. So, anyways, yeah, that's kind of one of the things he said. Mask mandate are pretty much up and open, so you could pretty much walk into a restaurant. They no longer have to force customers, or you know, you probably get groceries without a mask. But for me, I'm pretty comfortable with the mask. Been wearing a mask for about 2 years now. I got the all black masks too, and got some N95s as well that I recently restocked. So that's just going to be me. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird seeing more people not wear a mask. So
yeah, it's all about personal choice now, Bastion. We are now going to be in an era coming next week where it's all going to be about your personal choice. And I'll tell you one thing. For me, I'm going to put my mask on in the trains. That's about it. The trains. Because it's icky, it's gross, and y'all know what the MTA is like. Y'all know how it is down there. So during rush hour, during the time I'm on the train, yes, I'm keeping my mask on. And the other time, nah, it's over. It's a wrap. Bye, mask. That's it. That's how I feel.
I know how I feel about the mask in the train. It's like it's part one of a two-part system. You know what I mean? It's like, it's because of all the bacteria in the air you wear the mask. So, you know, in this case, if you had COVID, you don't cough it up on someone else, and someone else has it, it won't be able to, you know, go in through your nostrils and stuff.
Right.
But the second part is touching. Everything you touch, apparently all these, you know, sweat glands and everything. So one of my favorite things that the MTA has implemented within the past year is the NFC chip. You know, you could just like swipe your phone and pay for it, because you no longer have to bring out the plastic metric card and swipe, and you're touching everything. Like now you could actually go through the entire process in the train, sit down, you don't even have to like really touch that bar, and you could just kind of lean on it with your elbow or something.
you know what's crazy, Bastion?
I think it's the biggest twist, and I wish we had it years ago.
I'm not going to lie to you, Bastion. We have talked so much about NFTs and cryptocurrency that I honestly thought when you put NFCs and MTA, I honestly thought that it was a typo for NFTs. I thought you were going to come on this platform and said the MTA has dipped their hand into the NFT craze. I honestly thought this is where you were going to go with it, because I just thought NFC was a typo and I thought you meant NFT. So I apologize. I didn't know what NFC was until you just told me that, because
near field communication. You make me second guess myself for a second. Am I saying the right term on the radio?
No, you are.
NFC.
Yeah, you are. But see, we've talked so much about NFTs as of late, and you know, we jokingly talk about this podcast, this show becoming a crypto show, that I honestly thought NFC was just a typo, and I thought you actually meant NFT. So I thought you were gonna be like, yo, the MTA just started their own NFT. I was gonna be like, what? Like, this can't be real. But all right,
they gotta make money somehow, so don't be surprised.
Oh, soon. No worries. They're gonna start charging us $3 soon enough.
Soon enough. Yeah. But I do think that technology is great. It's something that most countries already had way back in like 2012, 2014. But for us to finally get it in 2021 is kind of insane.
I don't think so, Bastion. I disagree, because I think about the people who don't have smartphones, and I know what you're gonna say. even people from the hood have their smartphones. I get it. But I also think about, the elderly people who may not have smartphones, okay? Trust me, I see a lot of them. I see a lot of them with flip phones, bro. I know it sounds crazy, but they're out there, okay? There's people out there that do not have smartphones.
So I'm going to have to stop you there.
Please.
Because it's a two-way system. Because you don't necessarily, the NFC on your phone is one side. What you could do is also create a hardware that you could use forever. It doesn't expire like a Metro card, and it's very easy to refill the same way. So all you have to have is this piece of hardware, which could be the same size as the Metro card originally, because it could be like a little chip. You can even put it on your wallet, because like the new the Apple tracker thing is a little disc that you could like kind of put on your book bag just in case you lose your book bag and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, it's the same type of technology. So yeah, it's already, I can say it's already warranted different strategies on how to deal with people that don't have those things. So it's like, hey, I don't have a phone, or my phone is really from like 2005. Can I get something? They will give you a disc, and also they probably give you different options and stuff.
Okay, that's good. That's a good workaround. Hopefully they come out with an unlimited sort of thing as well, because I'm not paying every time I go on the train. Okay, that's gonna add up.
They haven't started that? I thought you had to like download like the MTA app and it creates this thing so you can add to your wallet.
I still use Metro cards, man. I don't know. I have the MTA app though. I just use it just to track when my trains are coming. That's all I use it for right now. Because as long as these Metro cards are still out here for the time being, I know they're trying to run it obsolete by about next year. I'm still going to use my Metro card for the time being. Okay, and that's just what's going to be, for now at least. Until
obsolete,
they force
just
me.
Like the subway tokens.
Man, them subway tokens were a thing. I remember it vaguely because we were children back then, but I don't remember much about it. Was it like 2 tokens to get in? I don't remember.
I don't recall either, but it did have a very interesting, if I remember, like maybe an octagon or maybe a pentagon design.
Yeah, because right before you swipe the Metro card, there was like a little hole, and that's where you put the tokens. That's all I remember. And then they patched up those holes, so that's all I remember about the subway tokens. Like they shut those out by like 2000. So that's why I'm like, oh, I remember it vaguely, but like
probably used it once or twice.
Maybe, but I was a child. I'm talking 5-6 years old. That's the last time I remember subway tokens, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That is it.
I definitely get it. Mm-hmm. So before we get into the next topic, let's play the first song of the week.
Yes, sir. First song of the week. It's Women's History Month, Bastion, and I know people are excited to say that, all right? I know people were excited to get rid of the black people for Black History Month. I know you were. I know all y'all were secretly on the low. Oh, I'm happy Black History Month's over. Now it's time for the women. I am women, hear me roar. I know how y'all be. Y'all, it's
Black History Month was wild.
It was wild. It's all about.
I wouldn't say it was great. I wouldn't say it was good either.
Yeah, I agree. But now that it's over, everyone is championing the women. Go women. I respect it. But also, they're talking about other political things. We're not gonna get into it because this ain't what Black Seinfeld's for. Watch CNN or something. I don't know. I don't care. Or watch. Oh, my bad. Don't do that. Listen to all the other WBAI shows. You know what I'm saying? See,
for more brothers and sisters.
Yeah, listen to them if you want to understand what's going on, because we're not going to talk about it here on Black Seinfeld. That's not what we do, okay?
Gotcha.
We have fun here.
So the first song we're going to play is an old joint by Faith Evans, Love Like This.
You got Fat Man Scoop on this?
No.
Damn it. That was Faith Evans, Love Like This. Low key bashing. I understand it's Women's History Month, but I honestly was waiting for mix drop. Got $100 bills, put your hands up. You got a $50 bill, put your hands up.
I completely forgot that version existed, because how I look for music, I search through Tidal. then I just click random things and let the algorithm speak to me, because I listen to the same stuff all the time, and I don't want to keep playing the same stuff on the radio. It's like I'm not going to play another Tame Apollo song or another Jay-Z song, or even playing some new tracks from Donda 2. I don't want to do that. So
that's fine.
It's like, let me click this, and that version came out first, so that's the version we played. End up chopping and editing, because that song is like an extra 40 seconds long.
It is.
And I had to kind of remove it because it's just her going in. R&B style, they don't really do it like that anymore, where they just let the beat roll, because nowadays we need those clicks. So once the song is done in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I need you to listen to it again. That's how we winning.
I agree. My favorite thing about R&B songs that they don't do anymore, Bastion, is the breakdowns at the end. Okay, like they'd sing the chorus, but then they'd have like an extra run in the background. So like they'd be like, my whole life has changed, and then Jenny would be like, my whole life has changed. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Then he throw in a baby, I love you. That's my favorite part of R&B tracks, and they don't do that anymore, Bastion.
Yeah, I think that has to do with, I would like to say like gospel music as well, but most of these R&B singers and musicians still go through gospel, playing in the band and like as a pianist or a drummer.
That is true.
Or even a singer, and they get into like R&B and hip hop later on. So the recipes are still there. I don't know what's happening. Maybe, the studio just looking for the next TikTok artist that don't have the recipes, and we just had to deal with that for the next couple of years.
That's the problem with TikTok, though, man. The problem with TikTok is they clip certain tracks. So, like, the tracks that you hear, the 6 seconds or however many minutes now that you hear a song, that cut of the song is fire, but you hear the whole song, and it sucks.
The hook is fire.
Yes.
But the bridge is messy.
Yes.
The intro is messy.
The audio
the song
is
has no
horrible.
meaning.
Yes. Yes, that's the problem with these TikTok songs. But hold on. Before we get into our next topic, I know that recently it was Ash Wednesday. Bastion, you grew up Catholic. Did you have a black cross on your forehead today, or?
No, I grew up Catholic. Are you still Catholic?
I'm just saying, some
you
things
grew up
people.
Catholic.
I know some
I went
things
to Catholic
people.
school.
Exactly. I'm just asking because some people, will still carry around the traditions. I don't know. Do you even do Lent? I've never asked you this question in your life.
Do I do Lent?
Yeah,
no, I remove Lent from my black shirts. So, hey.
Yeah, because my dad, he's not Catholic at all. Like, this man does not go to church. He doesn't do any of that stuff. The most Christian he is, he wears a cross. He has a gold chain that's a cross, and he does Lent. That's it. That's all he does. And for Lent, he gives up meat. That's his thing.
Yeah, as a person of old faith, I definitely feel most of it is performative. I won't say that about any other religion, which is crazy, but that's something I feel like most of it is performative, because people don't really practice what they preach. I feel like everybody just doubled down on their sins. It's a little bit easier to forgive, of course. Go to confessions and tell your confessions, to your pastor, then you can move on.
Oh, wait, hold on. I thought with Catholicism, you have to take a couple Hail Marys and then you good, right?
Like, we chilling. You could do like 10. Your grandmother will pay for you, man. That's how it works, man. Everybody got a grandmother will pay for you. That's how you live through life.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's all church really wants. They want a payday.
Yeah, if your grandma's not praying. No, not paying. Like praying for you.
Oh, praying. I thought you said paying.
No. Pray.
Oh, okay. My bad. I take that back then. Not really, because y'all still want a payday.
That's it. Like, getting a piece of your check. I don't know how much. Was it 1/3? 1/3 your check?
Yes. Give it to
Nasty.
the Lord.
Yeah, I got some Yeezys I'm trying to cop this month. March is looking crazy. You want to give me 1/3 of my check to you? No way.
Hey, you going to the Gap too, bro?
I've heard great things about the quality of the Gap stuff. So
It's not gilded.
It's not gilded, so it's looking good. Maybe down the future. Maybe at the end of the year, I'll probably cop a Yeezy Gap.
That's what's up. Looking down in the future, man. President Joe Biden wants to do a lot of good things for America. And in theory, they are great things. However, guess who? It's all comes down to Congress, whether they pass it or not. That's my one thing about the State of the Union addresses, the State of the Union speeches. And every time a president has a solution for an idea, I don't get excited anymore, Bastion. And I will tell you why. It's because it's not really up to the president like that. It's never been up to the president. It's always been up to Congress whether they want to pass this or not pass it. How many government shutdowns have we almost had since this man was in office, let alone this year? You know what I'm saying?
Every other month, yeah.
Every other month, they're like, oh, government might be shut down again. Like, oh, gee.
Last year was a couple times, right?
Yes.
I felt like, yeah. Now I think about it.
Yes. That's why maybe it's just me being desensitized to just how politics work, or just me being desensitized in general. I feel like, in theory, these State of the Union speeches, it's great. It's a great way to talk about all of the great things that are happening in America. Because, of course, they're not really going to talk about all the crappy stuff that's happening in America like that. They're not going to do it. My whole thing is, I'm more of a let's wait and see. I want to believe it when I see it actually happen. And unfortunately, y'all track record ain't up to snuff, Playboy.
It's not right, Playboy.
It's not. I'm sorry, I felt like Diddy on that one. It's not up to snuff, Playboy. So,
yo, man, I'm gonna need you to go around the world and give me the finest Danish before I believe what you said.
That's
right. As a Democrat.
And I open up the studio for y'all. That's exactly what they do.
So, like, I completely understand. I was gonna say something, but I'm on your side. The speech, it was lackluster, but it was still present where it wasn't bad. Yeah, like, he was saying good things. And I was actually talking to my brother about it and my parents about it. It's like, he gave us a speech of key terms that we will like to hear, but the problem is there's no solutions to get there. So you told me what I want, but you didn't tell me, like, how we are going to get there. Well, not we, how you going to make that happen.
He sound like a pimp.
So, how are you going to make this happen?
Yeah.
It's like, who you going to, screw over? You screw over us? You going to screw over me?
It's like, yeah, girl. He basically said, yeah, baby, I put you in first, baby. I take you to the moon, baby. Go ahead and give some top, and we gonna rock if you give that top, and I'm gonna take you to the moon, baby. That's all he was saying. I felt like a hoe this whole time.
It is.
We getting pimped.
It's politics, right? It's like at the end of the day, we understand how the system works.
That's right.
Because of what you were trying to do last year. And we never did have that episode talking about, like, Biden's woes. We didn't talk about, like, how he says he's going to do X and Y and Z, but never accomplished anything because he was, as Gio said a couple minutes ago, he's being blocked by the Senate, blocked by Congress, and blocked by 2 Democrats, which is crazy.
That's true.
Because you would have thought that it will be 50 split, then Kamala Harris just come through and just like, I'm 51, done. But it hasn't been like that
at all.
It's kind of funny too, because I think at the beginning of the year, or maybe even 2 years ago, when we spoke about, like, hey, they got the 50-50 split, they just had to, like, let people know. It's like, hey, once it's 50-50 and, like, Kamala signs one, whatever happens, the majority wins. But as of right now, because I think back then it's like, 64 have to say yes in order for things to pass.
Correct.
Which isn't true. It's just like, just to get things more bipartisan. But that's not the game we're playing right now. Right now we're playing red versus blue. And if red votes for blue, then they're going to be screwed out of business, right? They're going to be like, I forgot her name. Cheney. Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah, they're going to be like Liz Cheney. Like, you said some things, and now they just think you're not, like, I don't like her either.
Conservative enough.
Oh, but they removed a lot of her positions just because she sided with removing Trump. Well, not even removing, just like not going along with what nonsense Trump was saying. So it is a club. It is a weird club. And I actually made some notes of some things that he discussed. Yeah. And feel free to jump in if you have any discussion. So the first thing first, you see Joe Budden.
Oh no.
Joe Biden coming through. We did it, Joe. You see Nancy Pelosi out there. You see Kamala Harris out there. And the first thing they did was discuss what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. And talking about the Russian oligarchy and talking about sanctioning and cutting Russian banks from the international financial systems. Like he's pretty much kind of flexing, choking their economy, and which is visible. You know how I was just talking about the NFC?
Yes.
In our subways, how it's been around in other countries. So things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and all those sorts of digital ways to connect your credit cards to your phone, they actually don't work in Russia anymore. Yeah, so I actually saw this video. It's like, they just completely cut off. So now they have to kind of, run up and go to the ATM in order to go through their trains. So I thought that was very interesting. And I do find it more interesting, too, about how how privatized industry could really destroy the entire nation. Just because they no longer want to connect to them, which is very suspicious in the long run. Like Russia thing, I get it, like what they were trying to convey in the message being American businesses, but at the same time, it's like they could just do that to New York if they wanted to. It's like,
absolutely.
Apple Pay no longer works for New York because he didn't give us any tax benefits. Boom, done. Anyways, that's just something that came up to my mind looking at that.
Damn.
Another thing he spoke about is the pandemic. And he spoke about pretty much how we have to be more prepared for the future, having different strategies just in case anything ever happens again, and just in case there's more variants for the future.
Which there will be.
Yeah, which there will be. And he also spoke about inflation.
Yes.
We haven't spoke about inflation really.
Hell no, we just been making jokes about inflations.
But like, how do you feel about inflation? Like, has it affected you, and how you, besides the oxtail, how has it affected you?
Well, Bastion, thankfully I do not drive, so gas wise, like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I still take the train. I still get my steps in every day. So driving wise, it hasn't much affected me that much. I understand there's a price hike and a lot of not economic buzz, but technology good. He talked about the semiconductors. Finally, like, he talked about that, which we talked about last year on Black Seinfeld, called semiconductors. So go check that out, blackseinfeld.com. So we've already been in the loop of what's in high demand and what we're running low on, and what we need certain jobs for what. But other than that, honestly, it hasn't really affected me that much, except for like food. I know food has definitely gone up. I know different corporations, they've been lying to our people, and I don't like it, okay? For example, Dollar Tree, you're not the Dollar Tree anymore, okay? You're the $1.25 Tree, so you need to change your name. Stop playing, okay? It's not Dollar Tree anymore. It's $1.50 Tree, or $1.25 Tree. It's not the Dollar Tree anymore. Okay, that's how it's starting. That's how it affects me in my hood. That's how it affects us in Brownsville. Okay, that's definitely it. Okay, we started to see it even with the poor people. All right. What else? I'm starting to see just hikes in food.
In terms of electronics and consumer goods, things that will normally cost $300 could go up to $425.
Hell yeah, like these damn TVs.
Exactly. So same thing like my current monitor. I have a 27-inch LG monitor, 4K monitor, and the price I have two of them. So the price I bought the first one was at like $370. Now if I wanted to buy a third one, and the second one was roughly around like I think $410. Now if I were to buy a third one, it'll cost me $470. Same monitor.
Yeah.
And it went up by $100. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So that's just like a little thing that he was talking about inflation. He is actually pointing at the corporations too, because they're raising the prices.
Right.
So I would like to see what he could do to get that done. Talking about those corporations. So I don't know, they could send some spy there. It's like, hey, we heard that you raised the price of milk an extra 20 cents and you didn't have to, and you also have record profits. So it means that you're lying, and because of that, we're going to tax you or fine you and give it back to the American people. I'm just making stuff up. But
you sort of got it right too, because he was talking about that specifically when it comes to farming. If you remember that, he was talking about how, when it comes to the chicken industry, there's four major brands or corporations when it comes to the chicken industry. I can name two off rip. One is Tyson, the other is Purdue. I don't remember the other two off rip.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty much just two companies that are just dominating the meat game. Yeah,
Tyson and Purdue for poultry, right? And when it comes to these farmers, I think I talked about this actually when I talked about Super Size Me Too, because that whole movie was about the chicken industry and like the whole chicken sandwich craze. So in particular, when it comes to these chicken farms, right? These farmers will be signed to a corporate company, right? So they'll be signed to like Purdue, they'll be signed to like Tyson, right? And so what they would do is they would harvest these chickens, right? And then Tyson would give them this amount of money per 100 chickens, right? And so the money that these farmers are getting, they keep getting lower and lower and lower, and they keep charging them higher and higher and higher, and the pay keeps getting lower and lower and lower. And these corporations, they're making record profit from that. So President Byron is like, oh, I'm seeing what you're doing to these small time farmers, and we're going to try and see what we can do to you, because what you're doing is you're basically robbing these farmers. These farmers can't make a living because you're not giving them a livable pay for these chickens. So,
and to talk about, just add on to what you said, the four major is Cargill, Tyson Food. You can continue. I just had it. Okay. Oh. Cargill, Tyson Food, JBS, and National Beef Packing.
Okay.
And those are their fate. And they control between 55 to 85% of hog, cattle, and chicken markets.
Hell yeah, they got the chicken game on lock, bro. And you know what? That's crazy, because like we all as Americans, we eat chicken, and the chicken game is something that's never gonna die. You feel me?
No! Shout out to Wingstop. You're back into my heart after not eating chicken Wingstop for like I think like 8 years. I just stopped.
Yeah,
maybe even less, but it's really good now. Shout out to maybe they changed up the recipe in New York. I don't know, but it's really good.
Random. Did you have some of the thighs too?
The thighs are an interesting concept. I'm actually a huge fan of thighs and bones.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Bastion. To me, the thighs are the best part, in my opinion.
Thighs, it has to have a bone in it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It has to have
a bone. If the bone and thighs, now we're talking. This is underrated. This levels right here.
Absolutely.
But back to
dark meat all day, baby. But yeah, corporations, especially when it comes to the food industry, they are messed up. And hey, if you want to learn more about the food industry, I definitely want to say go check out Morgan Spurlock's Super Size Me 1 and 2. Especially 2, because you get more in depth when it comes to the corporate chicken game, because it is a motherfucker, people. It is a mother father. Like, don't mess with the chicken game, people. And also, 1619 is a great documentary as well. It's an audio documentary. It's a podcast. And listen to the last episode specifically.
Episode 4 and 5, right?
Yes, 4 and 5, where it talks about black farmers it talks about black farmers trying to make money from these farms, but these banks aren't giving them the proper loans because they are
denied bank loans.
Yeah, they're being denied bank loans, or even if they do get the bank loan isn't as much as their Caucasian counterparts. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, very interesting episode. Episode 3 is still my favorite one.
The music one.
Yeah, really good.
My favorite one is the farmers one because I love food.
Yeah. He also discussed about building the economy from the middle up and not from the top down, which is pretty interesting. Because the whole trickle down economics, you do all these tax cuts to these corporations and it eventually goes to the bottom.
That's a conservative motto, actually.
Yeah.
The trickle down system. That's all. Yeah, that's what all conservatives believe is the way to deal with the economy, especially when it comes to these tax cuts and these budget cuts. They want to make sure that corporations make as much money as possible by taxing them so little that all that money would go down to the poor people. And it never works, people. It never works.
It only works if they give you, like, every year you get another pay bump. That's not like a quarter, but like a whole $3. That would be huge. But yeah, he was also talking about that in terms, he was really having conversations about corporation stuff, talking about women getting equal pay as well. He wants to focus on that. And these are all like beautiful key terms that people on the left and, liberals and Democrats will love to hear. They like to eat up on that stuff. But like, is he able to actually do it?
Hell no.
Question.
No. That's me. No, I'm here to answer your question, Bastion. No, he's not going to do it. Okay. Every liberal who comes in, every Democrat, who comes into power and talks this whole game of, it should start with the middle, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's good in theory. It's really good in theory. But guess what? It does not come down to you, Mr. President. And that's what I want people to understand. You know what I'm saying? For people who don't really follow politics like that, and for people who for some reason rely on us to tell y'all information and give y'all the news, I'm here to tell you, from me to you, it's not going to happen, people, because it's not up to the president to make these decisions, okay? You even heard the man himself. He's like, yo, bring it to my office. Bring this bill to my office, and I will sign it. Because that's what the president does, people. Like, he don't make the laws. It's up to the Congress to make the laws. All right, and it's up to the majority to be like, okay, cool. This is what we want done for the American people. That's about it. He only has few executive orders. All right, so he got to space this out.
You don't have a few. He's unlimited. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Congress can always shut it down too.
Yeah,
that's what they don't tell you. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He only has a few executive orders.
It's another thing. He spoke about like the passing the bipartisan infrastructure law. Did they pass it? I don't remember them passing it.
I don't remember them passing it either, to be
so
honest.
Just straight up lying.
I'm not gonna call him a liar. I just don't recall.
Interesting.
They might have, but I just don't remember.
No. I think they're trying still. Buying American, so I guess like building more factories in America is another thing that he wants us to do as a country. Like something that we discussed in the semiconductor episode we did last year, early last year, which is crazy. Now I think about it.
Exactly, Bash. We talk about all this stuff before, okay? And I'm gonna repeat myself again. Buying American, in theory, it's a beautiful thing. It's fire. It's a great idea. However, whenever you bring up factory workers in America, you got to think about the working conditions for these workers, but also the wages that you're gonna give these people, and
are you gonna allow them to unionize?
Exactly. And are you gonna Amazon their asses?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. That's all I feel. That's it. If you're not gonna Amazon their asses and you're gonna give them a livable wage and you're gonna give them a union, hell yeah, buy America all day, America. But we know how y'all corporate bees. It's all about making the most profit out of spending less money. We trying to spend as little money as possible so we can make max profit. That's all it is. So if you're really down and if you're really serious, and if you care about the American people, then do right by the American people. Okay, give them a livable wage, give them some benefits. God damn it, you know what I'm saying? Let them have a union, and we good. And don't overwork their asses like they do Amazon. That's it.
Another thing he was discussing was the Affordable Care Act and closing the coverage gap in terms of healthcare and stuff. So it was just naming everything that we all want, like expanding healthcare, elder care, kindergarten education, which isn't universal. It's universal in New York City, though. Some people in Long Island know. Climate change initiatives, prescription drug prices cut, preserving the right for women to choose. You know, he's just naming, like I say, he's just naming a lot of things that we could all just like, yeah, I agree. But is he able to get this done in his term?
No.
It sounds like a 10-year plan to me. It sounds like a 30-year plan in American language.
I'm going to keep it G with you, Bastion. I don't even think this man's going to last for a second term, honestly. So, good luck. That's how I feel, personally. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. The man's ratings, this man's approval ratings is not the best right now. All right, it's not the best, and
it's a bit dry.
It's a bit dry, and also when it comes to Black America too, they not too fond of Joe Biden right now. We not too fond of him. So I don't know, man. 2024, it can be, return of the empire. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
And he did talk about a couple of things, but pretty much in order to wrap up on this topic, he was talking about COVID tests, and they're very easy to order for free. Like I said, he wants to continue and focus on preparing for new variants and also having all the PPP stuff prepared.
Yeah.
I almost talked about.
Yeah.
I almost forgot this. Also, he wants to find ways to beat the opioid pandemic. All right, Gio, feel free to take over this last one.
I remember once he said that, I immediately texted you and I was like, everyone in Brooklyn, you better run now. Everyone back in 2020 that applied for these PPP loans, hear me and hear me well. Joe Biden is on your asses, okay? He is not letting y'all get away with that fraud y'all committed, allegedly, back during the lockdown, back during when the pandemic was high. So if I were you, I would get my stuff in order, and I would make a flee. Go out flee, because Joe Biden's going to be on your asses.
I did find it weird because he was talking about funding the police type policies.
Yes,
and then he said this so proudly. It's like, we're gonna find these people that stole money from the PPP loan. It's like, he kind of forgave most companies for not paying the PPP loans. Like, you're doing fine. You don't have to pay.
He forgave Shake Shack.
Right? Like, why are you so proudly are we gonna find these regular people that became scammers for the year during their worst year ever? It's so weird.
That's all
I don't
it means,
know.
Bastion. It just means they gonna lock up more Black people. That's it.
Nah, it's mixed. It's definitely mixed type of people that are doing the PPP loan. It's the same type of people that will sell fake vaccine cards on Instagram.
Oh, yo, did you see that there was these nurses who were selling fake vaccine cards, and they would write people who wasn't vaccinated down in the system, and 2 cops were involved too, and they got locked up. This was in New York. Yeah, man.
Yeah. They made $20K a month or something.
Hell yeah,
that.
They were making millions.
So they're eating good. Shout out to the hustle, but you gotta know when to leave. If you keep rolling them dice.
Say it, Bastion. There you go. Keep going. You on the path. Keep it going. Yep. Let them know why.
Keep rolling them dice. One day you're just not gonna be so lucky.
Mm-hmm. The fall of every man and woman when it comes to this game is greed. Okay, you get too damn greedy. You start flexing out there. You start going on social media and flexing these Lamborghini rentals and all that. And guess what? The government is on your ass. So for all of y'all who is doing these PPP loans and was scamming out there, hear me and hear me well as I tell you this. Please, for the love of God, take all of those posts that you had on social media, all the flexing that you did, because everyone was poor back in 2020, but for some reason you flexing, you out in these expensive cars and these sports cars. Delete them now. Delete now.
Bro, I'm letting you know. They already know. Oh, that's funny. I don't remember him posting so much about, oh, I ain't trying to be like that. Oh, I'm better than everybody. Oh, he's giving advice. Why is this person magically starting to give financial advice? I wonder what this person is doing.
In a world of Ricos, be an ace. You see what I'm saying? See, I know you got that reference, Bastion. It's a great reference. In a world full of Ricos, be an ace.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, paid in full.
Paid in full. Oh, okay.
So remember when Cameron, Rico, aka Rico, he was doing too much? You know what I'm saying? He was too flashy. He was going around shooting Franklin Satan's dad in the face. He you know what I'm saying? Like, he was smashing all these women and recording it, and he was just bringing a lot of attention to the group.
Yeah.
Ace was just low key with it. Ace never flashed his money. Ace never wanted to do no one harm like that. You know what I'm saying? When he moved correctly, okay? He tried to remove all footprints that led back to him, okay? Rico, on the other hand, you knew about Rico. You knew Rico was out here hustling. You knew Rico was out here being a shooter and all that. Ace wasn't. Ace was not like that. So in a world full of Ricos who's loud and flashy, be an ace. Be someone who's humble. You know what I'm saying? Be someone who understands that this game isn't to be played for the long run. This is a short-term game. You get in, you get out. Church.
That being said, let's get into our next song of the week.
Yes. The Management, MGMT, from one of my favorite albums of all time at the moment, you know, 2018's Little Dark Age, okay? I'll never forget it. Bastion 2019 was like, yo, we gonna go see MGMT. It's like, all right, cool. Where's it gonna be? Webster Hall. Webster Hall, right?
No.
Or Irving Plaza.
Yeah, Webster Hall, because it was closed for a long time.
Yes. And then they reopened it with the whole Jay-Z B-Sides concert, which is like $800 a ticket. And so it was all industry people and white people that didn't want to rap along to Jay-Z. I'm getting off topic. But anyways, we went there. It was a great time. Bastion was upset. Bastion was upset that all the mid to late 30-year-olds, early 40-year-old people only wanted to hear stuff from Miraculous Spectacular. But I told them that's what they grew up with in college, Bastion. But we were there for the album that is Little Dark Age, one of the best albums to come out in the 2010s decade. Still one of my favorite albums ever. Oh, and they re-released their vinyls. So, hey, if you want to get the vinyl, go ahead and get it. This is Me and Michael from MGMT. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we going to talk music. We going to talk entertainment. We going to talk movies, discussions. And yeah, here it is. MGMT. It was MGMT, Me and Michael, off of the 2018 release Little Dark Age. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Black Seinfeld, show about nothing. Once again, if you enjoy this show, please go to blackseinfeld.com, where you can get all the latest and greatest episodes of our podcast. Remember, also, hey, if you have Spotify, if you have Stitcher Radio, if you have Apple Podcasts, if you have Podbean, if you have Pandora, if you have Audible, if you have Amazon Music, it's all available on those respective platforms as well. Black Seinfeld, just look it up in the URL to whatever podcasting platform you have and take a listen to Black Seinfeld. Follow us on whatever platform you use. Give us a 5-star rating, give us a follow, give us a like, because it helps us with the algorithms. That helps us say, it helps the algorithm say, hey, this podcast is not trash. This is not an alpha male podcast. We talk about real things here. Right, Bash?
Yes. Alpha male, no, we give no love life advice, but we do inform you and make you much smarter, so you could talk to your friends and have good counterpoints in conversations.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
That's right. So if you go to your first ever adult party and they talk about crap that's going on in the world, you could be like, oh, snap, I heard about that on Black Seinfeld. I'm just saying what Bastion said, you know, and, you know, I can contribute to this conversation, so I could be sophisticated while I'm drinking this bottle of Merlot.
Yeah, they say chip shortage, you say semiconductors. It's all about keywords, bro.
Exactly.
Words.
That's exactly it, Bastion. You are not wrong, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I've been to some of these adult parties, man, and it shocks you how, one, closed-minded people are, but two, how much like people really just talk about the news all day. And like I really see, like, I see people becoming their parents, and it's crazy.
Yeah, hey, me and Gio, we went to the same college, and that's something I used to complain to Gio about when talking to new people in the conversations. They're just so close-minded so quickly. It's like, how did we get here? How did we get to this conversation? We're adults.
Yeah.
We're paying for education, and now we're just like 19, 20 at the time. But I thought life was better.
It was
but
better.
The older you get, it's life is better. But the conversation, it either gets worse or it gets sidetracked, or it's just, yeah, you feel like you're just talking to a parent.
Yeah. Before we get into music really quick, I just want to talk about this story really fast. I remember I was having a conversation with this newlywed couple, right? And they went over to Brazil for their honeymoon. And they were like, oh my gosh, we were so shocked to see how developed Brazil was, because, whenever we think about Brazil, we think about, the villas, and we think about about the hood in Brazil's, about the bad areas in Brazil's. But we were around the resort and the hotel, there were restaurants and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, here's the thing. A lot of those countries, there's this, they always are developing. The goal is they want to become first world countries. So they're always in development. They always have, different restaurants and hotels, and they always want to be technologically sound. So, the media always wants to show you the bad parts. They always want to show you the hood of these areas. You know what I mean? But, there's also the good parts of these countries. You just don't see it, okay? Because, y'all just think because there's a bunch of black people running around, it's going to be uncivilized. But no, that's not how it is all the time.
I actually look at it completely different from you.
Oh, please.
I just say, like, if I were in that type of conversation and said, you saw the part they allowed you to see, because it could be really bad, but they're not going to show you that they're causing the trouble.
That's a different way of looking at it. I didn't think of it like that either.
You remember the Chris Rock joke? It's a classic one about him going to Jamaica.
Oh.
And like the flight there was nice, the journey there was wild, but when he got to Sandals Resort, he just kind of forgot about everything he saw. So that's kind of how most of these countries are. I like to call them plastic beaches, because they definitely set it up to make it look like paradise. But when you get around the town, you feel like something suspicious. So yeah, they still have everything laid out. But yeah, it is something to think about.
That is definitely Jamaica with the Sandals Resort. That is definitely Jamaica with that. Because that's not even what Jamaica is, man. You want to go to I want to go to the gully. Shoot. I don't want to go to no damn Sandals Resort.
I want to see very light blue water. I want to see the bottom of the ocean.
Hey, man, that's prime marketing, Bastion.
Prime marketing. So there is a reason I actually wanted to play the song Me and Michael by MGMT.
Why was that? So,
like, it's not just being like, it's one of my favorite albums, but because of the music video that came with the song. So the music video, in a quick synopsis of what's about, is these two artists, they make music, and they find this song called Me and Michael, sung in a different language. So what they decided to do, and they loved it, like they were crying, said, this is the amazing song. He said, let's steal it. So they go to the studio, they make their own version of Me and Michael, and they're going around, they're telling everybody about it, and they blow up and they become famous. And one day someone just kind of shows up and said, hey, wait a minute, this person made the original Me and Michael. And then they get called out, then, their fame kind of loses it. But in the end, I don't really want to, I think that's the gist of the story. So I like that music video a lot. I like this song a lot too. And it just reminded me, I was just reminded by a predicament that happened recently.
Yes.
About a reggae band.
Yes.
That's suing Dua Lipa.
A white reggae band, mind you. I was shocked.
It seemed like there was like maybe two mixed brothers over there. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, they are Snow Informer in flesh, people, in the flesh. Y'all know Informer. Niggy bum bum. I don't know what the hell you saying in that mid riff. I ain't gonna lie.
Artikal is the name. It's called the band Artikal Sounds.
Yes.
Created a song, I think they said back in 2017, that Dua Lipa and her producer ripped off, and they are now suing for ripping them off, and they want money out of it. I don't know how much money they're looking to gain, but I was very interested because I am very interested in those type of things where artists either were caught stealing or didn't say this is where they got the inspiration from. And I actually have the clips right here. Gio, would you be able to? So there's two clips I want people to listen to. So the first clip we're going to play is the Dua Lipa song, right?
Right. So the Dua Lipa song is called Levitating. All right.
Featuring the baby. So you've probably seen the music video 1,000,001 times before in the past.
Yes.
So.
All right.
So that was Levitating. And now this is going to be the reggae's version. Well, not the reggae version.
The original version, allegedly.
The original, allegedly called "Live Your Life."
Yes.
All day, all night, party to sunrise now. Don't stop till you have lived your life, lived your life for real. Lived your life for real. Lived your life for real.
I'm not gonna lie, Bastion. They do sound familiar. It does sound a bit similar. That riff does sound, those chords, that riff, it does sound a bit similar. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of have a case here.
So I quickly analyzed the song yesterday and today, and I was able to find like the full version of "Live Your Life," and they do get into some reggae late in like the second verse and stuff, but they also had this vocoder sound like you would hear in the 70s. Also, you're a big fan of Random Access Memories. They also used the vocoder in the singing.
Nice.
So they both used it. Both of these songs used this vocoder singing modulator, and I felt like that was the number one red flag for me. I think that is what sold it. It's like you both used it. So it's either you heard the song or you tried to copy it so much you kept all the elements. It was very weird because Dua Lipa's version is way better, right?
Oh, absolutely. Duh. I mean, it has more money in it.
Live Your Life is a little bit too layered and it's not mixed that well, so it sounds so busy. Like I said, I heard the song a couple times. Like it's just very messy. It's like what's going on?
I mean, yeah, but the Dua Lipa version is polished. It's pop music, so pop music has to be polished. It has to be the audio has to be great. The recordings have to be sweet, smooth, and like I said before, polished.
Yeah, and I like Dua Lipa. I think she's great.
Yeah, she good.
Ironically, coincidentally, she performed, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Go
so
figure.
she's in New York. But, just listening to the song, it's like, wow, you really ripped off an artist and sold it as your work, and it was super successful. But you could have, said this is where you got it from, and they would have gotten a little bit of cheddar, too.
I agree.
You could give them a good 10%.
But, Bastion, this isn't the first time around where we've seen this happen in music. Before I talk about another most recent example, so my mom used to be an accountant, right, for this big law firm, and the law firm was mainly for entertainment, specifically the music industry. So when, for example, like Jay-Z's lawyer used to work for my mom's law firm, right? So mom would have all these stories of oh, gee, I saw I saw Jay-Z and that man from Chicago who will not be named on this show anymore in the hallway.
Until next week.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about Ye. I'm talking about the other man from Chicago.
Never mind.
Yeah, him. Because during that time, that's when they came out with the Best of Both Worlds album, Bastion. So that's why they were there. So there was this thing called Bring Your Kids to Work Day, right? And so, certain days. So there'll be one time out of the year where all the kids would go to my mom's job, and we would learn about lawyer stuff, but specifically when it comes to the entertainment industry. And there's this one part where I remember vividly where they talked about different cases when it came from music, and specifically different riffs of song that sound similar. And I remember there was one in particular regarding Mariah Carey and some other song where Mariah Carey felt like she got ripped off and she sued and she won. So that's so you showing me that, it just triggered that old memory that I had. But then the most recent memory that I have of this actually going to court now was the one, Don't Ever Mess With Them, the Marvin Gaye estate, and one, Robin Thicke. But it's when it comes to what's that song? I know you want it.
Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines. There you go. Robin Thicke's last hit, and then he fell off the face of the earth when Paula Patton dumped his ass. Yeah, basically, the riff for Blurred Lines is Marvin Gaye's "I Just Wanna Party." Y'all know that song, old people. All the elderly people, the song.
Got to give it up. Basically, that's the riff for Blurred Lines, right? And it's very similar.
It's incredibly similar, Bastion. It's incredibly similar. But my problem is too, especially when it comes to that record, right? You have two black people in T.I., but especially Pharrell. That's who I get mad at, especially because Pharrell is this big time producer. Okay, 60% of all of his beats with Chad Hugo was on the radio, and you couldn't tell freaking Robin Thicke like, yo, this sounds way too similar to a Marvin Gaye record.
It's like he produced it with what's to do with the long beard in Def Jam?
The white boy.
They helped out with the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. He made 99. Yeah, there you go. Rick Rubin. I was like, he made 99 Problems.
Yeah. So Rick Rubin also helped out with that as well.
Yeah.
But I do think they didn't do it on purpose. I do think they were trying to, get ideas from it. But the number one thing is if you interpol a track, you have to claim that this is an interpol, so they could get their just due. Yeah. So this is what happens when you mess up. Another track is like This Is America and American Pharaoh. American Pharaoh from like Charles Gambino. American Pharaoh didn't sue, but when you listen to those tracks side by side, they
sound similar.
Very similar in terms of tempo, beat, switch, subject matter. It just, of course they're two different artists, so they do things a little bit differently. But that's how I felt about it.
Yeah. And also, if you want to talk about another record too, another recent record that everyone was talking about last year was that damn Olivia Rodrigo record and Paramore's Misery Business.
I'm not too sure about that. I don't know anything about it.
Really? Okay, so we all know Paramore's Misery Business, one of the biggest records that come out of the emo pop punk scene. And then you had Olivia Rodrigo with her album last year. And the song in particular I'm talking about, hold on, let me just go on Spotify real quick. I'm sure it's gonna pop up immediately. Good for you. There you go. So the riff in Good For You, the melody for Good For You, the chorus of Good For You sounds incredibly like the Misery Business chorus. And it has that pop punk feel to it that sort of resembles Paramore's Misery Business. And so Olivia Rodrigo got a lot of flack for it, and it got so bad for her that she finally gave Paramore their credit, so they getting some money from that song Good For You now.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Paramore.
Shout out to Paramore, man.
For eating. But like, what is it? Did they know that, or like the fans say, hey, this sounds very familiar?
The fans call that out immediately. And it's not like young kids, it's like people our age that like really rock with Paramore, that love Paramore to death, because Paramore has their fans, like they're diehards, and they brought out the fact that this has an eerie homage, if you will, to Paramore's 2007 record Misery Business. And if you listen to the song Bashing, there's some similarities, a lot of it, especially when it comes to that chorus. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like that's what people tend to steal. It's like it's either the riffs or the hook, the chorus, because that's kind of what pulls people in. That's where most of this Western music theory comes from, or I guess Eurocentric music theory comes from. So people tend to steal the same sounds, which is silly to me. But at the same time, you're trying to grow inspiration, because I remember reading Pharrell's article on like why he was like inspired by Marvin Gaye is because he was trying to get that feeling that those joints were able to do back in those days in the 70s, and Blurred Lines did still give that same feeling, which is true. I did think it gave the feeling, but at the same time, you're supposed to give it credit, and that's it. Yeah. He had to pay out $5 million, but
yeah, that's not a small amount of money. But Bastion, may I ask you a question? What do you think is the difference in being inspired by a record and then just flat out stealing it?
So you could be inspired by the genre it's in, right? You could, right? I guess the best person to talk about would be like Kanye West, right? Mm-hmm. And then you could look at, I guess Kid Cudi would be an example. When you look at 808s and Heartbreaks, we all know like 808 Heartbreaks birthed a lot of people's style.
Yes.
It just gave more people the freedom to do that. That's the inspiration. Now you no longer have to be hard rap. You could actually sing and rap at the same time, and no one will give you slack. You just have to sing well. Now you no longer have to, you could get into these emotional tracks. You could go into these airy, spacey tracks, and these type of genres and sounds always existed. It's just now you could do it, right? Yeah. But let's say that, I feel like Logic did it a lot, where he would kind of like carbon copy, make a whole song that sounds exactly like, Outkast, for example.
Make a whole ass album that sounds like Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly.
But he will personally tell everybody this is how I was inspired. But if he say me and my boys did it in the studio and no, we didn't listen to that album, we never heard of it, that's when you can say this is stealing. But if you're out there saying like I was inspired by this record, that's why we decided to go this direction, then yeah, it's fine. But if you're like straight up just like ripping the sonics, the beat, the hook, a couple of the lyrics, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. But that's how I could tell the difference between like inspiration and just flat out just stealing. If you're not even sampling too, if you're sampling, you fail to do the sample thing, yeah, that's on you. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like I've seen a lot of Dua Lipa defenders, and the main argument I'm hearing is like, oh, well, this band only had 100 plays on SoundCloud, and they're relatively no one. And what if Dua Lipa didn't even listen to this band or even listen to this record? There's so much chords that you can play in music that sometimes they're just gonna sound similar to another record. What do you think about that argument?
For this particular song, no, you definitely heard this song and you decided to copy and paste it. Like I said, there's certain things, like I said, Dua Lipa's version is definitely better. It's mixed because you hear this song and said, wow, this has a lot of good elements. I could improve it. That's straight up stealing too.
Yeah.
That's straight up stealing. Because I feel the same way about listening to like certain artists. I listen to their music, it's like, wow, I could do better.
They got Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I could, mix this better. Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of people might have feel about Donda too, right? It's like the stems came out. It's like, all right, this is how I would mix it if I was doing it, but it's not finished. So
it's like, hey, it's not done. Yeah, but he was like, yeah, I took Harvard Connection and I made Facebook. I made it better. So that happens sometimes, but you have to say like where you got it from. I agree. Stop plagiarizing, people. They'd expel your ass for that.
What was that song I played recently? I think it was trending on Twitter the other day. How it's a song that was supposed to go to J-Lo.
Wait, really?
Yeah. You remember?
No, I don't.
I'll probably bring it up in a few minutes, but
yeah, bring it up in a few minutes or maybe next episode. While you bringing it up, we can get into some new music that dropped this week, because there's a lot of music that dropped, Bastion, and I was excited by this. I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't know to what level of music was gonna drop, but hey, I'm happy we finally got something in this first quarter. We got some other than The Weeknd and FKA Twigs. I was waiting, and we certainly got some bangers out here. So the first one I want to talk about real quick goes to my favorite member from Griselda, Conway the Machine.
Oh, just quickly, it's Amari's One Thing. Is that one thing?
Oh, wait, that was supposed to go to J-Lo?
It was supposed to go to someone else, not Amari. And then Amari leaked it to the radio, and that's how it popped off.
Damn. I remember when Ashanti was writing for J-Lo?
Yeah.
And J-Lo got away with a lot of records that Ashanti wrote and Ashanti was supposed to be on. That's what I'm thinking about too. I remember that.
It's the same thing.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Amarie, wherever you are in life. But yeah, Conway the Machine is back with a new album, Gods Don't Make Mistakes. And Bastion, I'm not gonna lie, man, Conway the Machine, he's my favorite Griselda member for a reason, and he did not disappoint again with this record. Only 10 tracks, fairly short listen, but he conveys his message so well. One of my favorite things about Conway the Machine is the fact that he's very much like Biggie, not by like how he raps, not how, because Biggie was more of like a jazz swinger when he flows, but whenever Biggie raps, you just feel it. You know what I mean? He just convicts this emotion where, you know, every line that's been said, every bar that he spits, you just feel him. And that's how I always feel about Conway the Machine. He convicts emotion in his raps. You know, he's one of the few, I think he's one of the only, he is probably the only Griselda member that actually, like, he's not afraid to be vulnerable in his music, because West Side Gun, he's more flashy, right? He's like, hey, yo, I got Popeyes and fries, and I'm selling coke, and I'm cooking in the kitchen. That's what West Side does, and he does it well. He throws in a wrestling reference. Benny's like, I'm gonna murder you straight out and then cook this coke. But Conway, he's gonna talk about, you know, losing his friends, losing his son, people making fun of his face, you know, because his face is paralyzed. And, you know, he's gonna open up in his music, and that's what I really love about Conway. You know, he's always, don't worry, he's also gonna talk about killing people. I mean, if you want a good Buffalo is a Dangerous record, you got Piano Love with Alchemist on the on the instrumentals. He was like, we don't play fair, we doing drive-bys right through the daycares. I'm like, y'all shooting up the daycares? Really? That's how y'all doing Buffalo? That's disrespectful. But then also he's gonna have,
he did paint a picture very
vividly.
Vivid, yeah. You know,
yeah.
If the color red was a song.
Yeah, yes. But also he's gonna have songs like Guilty, where, you know, he opens up and he expresses guilt for certain things happening in his life and happening to the people that he loves. You know what I'm saying? And that's why particularly I love Conway the Machine, and I love that he evokes that throughout this album and throughout his last album, From King to a God. I love that about Conway. Bastion, how do you feel?
You definitely felt this album a lot more. I did give it a couple listens, but from what I've heard, I liked it a lot. It, like I said, like you said very nicely, it does paint a vivid picture of what's going on in his mind, and he does a really good job keeping the subject matter and getting his ideas out from the beginning to the end of the song, which I feel like most artists do have a problem with. So when he's writing these songs, I really do think that he writes it with an idea and he executes it really nicely. And not only does he execute it nicely, I think he's able to even tell the people that are on the track to, like, this is how you're supposed to, like, spit it. You know, so when he got that first song, you know, Benny Siegel was talking, Then the second one, you got like Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. It's like they both were. I felt like they were just pieces for the song, but it didn't like improve the song. It made the song. It was part of the song. And some albums, when you listen to other artists, you add Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, they just add the extra flavor. No, that's the spicing. Now we can really enjoy this chicken. But this is the meal. Everybody had their dish, and it just worked really well. So that's how I felt. He knew how to utilize all his features in this album, because there's a lot of them.
Yes. Of course, you have Griselda in there, Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun. There's also a T.I. verse in there. There's Wallow 267. There is Seven the Genius, Jay Skis. You already mentioned Beans. You mentioned Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. There's Jill Scott, Miss Jilly from Philly. Keisha Plum.
Yeah. So yeah, I pretty much co-sign everything you said, so I don't feel like double downing on it. But I do think it's a great album. And then some songs you could just listen to it and you don't really have to look at the lyrics. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite albums so far of 2022 goes to you, Mr. Conway the Machine. Gods Don't Make Mistakes. Check it out on all platforms where you can just Google it or whatever. What platform you have, just listen to it. It's a good project. Okay, it'll get you in the mood of want to commit murder. All right, and I'm sorry. Next album, Bastion. Did you listen to the new Earth Gang Ghetto Gods album? Damn, it's a lot of gods in this.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too when I was writing it down. Yeah, I did. I heard the new Earth Gang album. I was very. I'm not the huge Earth Gang fan. I do think they have a lot of great songs, album wise. That nothing has really held me down to continuously like re-listening to it over and over and over again. But in this album, I did give it a couple listens. I would like to give it more because I feel like they're saying a lot. Like maybe these type of artists, you need to look at the lyrics a little bit more. But I love the instrumentals they use. I love the subject matters they're talking about. I could say there's not a whole lot of features. I think everybody stands to where they need to be. Yes. I was surprised about the Future feature.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't look at the track list when I was listening to it. I was just chilling. Then Future came up, like, oh, this is perfect song for Future.
ATL in the house.
Yeah, so I think I was spoiled. Not spoiled, but who cares? Like by that J. Cole was on the album. So when he came up, it's like, all right, it works pretty well. He knows how to sing with them.
Yes.
But other than that, I think their flows are always on point.
Yes.
Maybe certain flows I wish they used in different songs, but that's why I think I need to listen to this music a little bit more and more. They almost kind of convey the same energy as listening to JPEG Mafia, where they have so many styles and so many beat selections that you want to understand like why they chose that particular style for that beat. That's how I feel about JPEG, because you got like mad, but you got mad styles for days.
Mad styles, mad flows. I agree.
Mad flows. So when you have a lot of flows, that's kind of when listening to music to the artist is fun.
Yes.
So when you have JID on the track, you're like, okay, he's going off.
Yes.
And then you have Earth Gang, then J. Cole. So it's a fun song.
Water Boys.
Enjoyable. It's enjoyable. So yeah, I definitely recommend people to listen to the album. What's your thoughts about it?
I would like to ask you a question. I apologize. I'd like to address the elephant in the room regarding this album. There's a Nick Cannon feature on this album. Yeah. Something that I did not expect at all. What was your thoughts on the Nick Cannon feature, featuring CeeLo Green as well?
Yeah, I thought CeeLo Green was weird. He hasn't done much in a while, so
I get it. Atlanta. I get it.
The Nick Cannon thing was weird too because he was in the hook.
Yeah.
They reference him in the song, so maybe they played it for him and he has to be on, maybe. And it's like, why not? So that's how I felt when I heard the song. It's like, oh, Nick Cannon's on this too. I was like, all right, cool.
Power with CeeLo Green and Nick Cannon is the record that we're discussing. I'm a fan of Earth Gang ever since I heard them. Back during Afropunk, actually, is when the first time I heard of Earth Gang, and I got to see them live, and I like their vibe and I like their style. Don't listen to what Yes Jules said on Twitter, people. They are not two Andre 3000s, okay? Don't do that to Earth Gang. It's disrespectful. And don't do that to Big Boy too, okay? They are Earth Gang. Just because it's a duo and it's from Atlanta doesn't mean you have to compare them to Outkast. Also, I just want to say that I agree with you, Bastion. This album, it's a lot to take in. There is a story within this album. I'm still just trying to understand what the story is. There are some good records though. Billy featuring Future, as you said, I didn't expect a Future feature, but once Future came on, like, he just rode that beat only the way Future does. Waterboys, one of my favorite records, because the man who has not dropped a record yet, and I want him to, JID, is on it, and he freaking murks it as usual. His feature game is crazy. JID, stop playing with me. This is the year 2022. Give me a damn album. J. Cole did great as well. J. Cole always does great on features. His albums, but feature wise, he's great. And then we have a lot of skits like the Hey Boo skit, where this young man in this skit is trying to find love, blah blah blah, but he's scared, of course. You have the Zaza skit, which it's a weed skit, of course, but there's a lot of features on it, especially from Dreamville artists. So you got Ari Lennox as well, like I said, JID, of course, J. Cole. Oh, you got Music Soul Child too with Amen, which I didn't expect the Music Soul Child to pop up from his cave, but hey, shout out to you. Shout out to Earth Gang for getting all these musical acts. I guess people really rock with Earth Gang, so I'm excited to see Earth Gang continue to grow. Hopefully they switch up more. Yeah, I just need to give this a couple more listens. There's already tracks that I love from this album, so yes, that's all I have to say.
All right, cool. So let's end this episode on this note.
Yes.
We'll discuss more next week in terms of music. Hopefully more music come out this week.
Yes, next week we can talk about Kodak.
And we definitely will talk about the Kanye West documentary next week as well.
Man, I can't wait.
So part 3 ended today, was the last episode. So we could probably dedicate maybe like 30 minutes at the later half to that. But that being said, we're Black Seinfeld. I'm Bastion. This is Giovanni. And if you want to reach out to us, we're on Twitter and Instagram at Black Seinfeld NY. And we also, feel free to email us at blackseinfeldny@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week at the same time, Thursdays, 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. And, we're going to play the last song.
That's
right. It's going to
right.
be Lauryn Hill, Lost Ones.